Thank you for coming to our Runner's Roost event. My name is Steve Van Diest, and I'm going to host Sammy Schultz and a few of our sponsors. But I want to thank first our first sponsor, Runner's Roost, here on Colorado Boulevard. They've been around since 1977 as one of the premier running gear and training stores in Colorado, as well as online now. And they've been a family owned and operated. And if you are looking to get the right gear, the right shoes, the right clothing, we want to encourage you to come down here. Ask for Bobby. Bobby is one of the general managers. So thank you, Bobby, for hosting this event. And we're super excited about it. Another one of our major sponsors is Kelsey, and she owns Revitalize Massage. And Kelsey, I want you to talk to us about massage, but Kelsey, she massages professional athletes with the Broncos. She's been part of the Denver Nuggets and universities here in town, as well as normal weekend warriors like myself, people that need to be taken care of. But why are you different than all the little spa places around, and why is massage such an important part of training and recovery?
Sure. So I got into massage about 10 years ago. I knew I wanted to help people make them feel their best, and I knew the clientele that I wanted to see. And it does gear toward athletes, but like you said, it is the weekend warriors, and being in Colorado, it's everywhere. So massage, there's a lot of benefits to it. It helps with your flexibility, recovery time, helps with sleep, any inflammation, and the list can go on and on and on. But typically, I mean, I see a lot of people that have, like the weekend warrior people, injuries everywhere. And so that's kind of where I'm geared to. It's more of like a specific type of treatment. I'm still doing massage, but it's how can I make you feel better in this short amount of time to get you back out to do whatever you're doing. So it's still massage. It's just not more spa-like. I try to make it spa-like with the room, the lighting, and the music, but it's a treatment overall.
Now, where are you located?
So I am located here at Runner's Roost in the basement.
It's a beautiful facility, and so you go, gosh, where is it? Runner's Roost on Colorado Boulevard. Come and you can ask, where's Revitalize Massage? You can book online appointments at, what's your website?
You can't.
Can't book online, but you can, you can find Kelsey at Runner's Roost.
Yep.
Your website is?
It's just AMTA Revitalize Massage.
Awesome.
I have a Facebook page that you can go online to as well. And all the information is upstairs at Runner's Roost.
And as a husband who's married to a wife that pushes her body, massage therapists like yourself are wonderful because part of my job, it feels like every day, is massaging the same sore muscles. So we love massage therapists like you. So thank you for sponsoring this event.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I want to invite up Sammy Schultz. And Sammy is a native of Colorado, and she grew up here in the Littleton area. I call her a modern day James Bond. I think what you do is pretty fascinating. You're part of a sport called the modern pentathlon. It's been around since the first Olympics in 1912. And I'm gonna get this straight. It's 5 activities. It's swimming, equestrian jumping, it's fencing, it's running, and pistol shooting. Mm-hmm. And I think if you added on evening gowns with gambling and martinis, you would be the next modern James Bond. And so tell us a little about yourself, how you got involved in this sport, growing up here locally, and we'll talk more about the sport. And tell us about the sport too.
So modern pentathlon, it has such a deep history as in the Olympics and just with military as well. It originated as a military sport. If a soldier had to deliver a message across enemy lines, he would need to know to ride a horse. If he came across an enemy, he'd have to know how to shoot a pistol. Once you run out of ammunition, pull out your sword for fencing. If you come to a body of water, you have to be able to swim. Once you're on the other side, you got nothing left, so you got to run to deliver the message.
Oh, it's even cooler. You added a whole other cool factor to it.
So, I mean, I was like, how do all those events relate to each other? And they really just encompass an all-around warrior and Olympian with those 5 events. And I was very fortunate growing up in Colorado. I was just very active. I think I was on skis the day before I was 2, so it's surprising that I didn't go into a winter sport, but I also hunted with my dad. I loved horses. I played soccer. I swam, did tennis, just a very wide variety of sports. And in 2010, I was a senior in high school, running cross country, running track, swimming, riding horses, doing ski team, kind of anything and everything. And someone who I was riding horses with was like, hey, you should learn how to fence and shoot. And I was like, well, I know how to shoot. I've hunted. And so I did a camp at the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, just down the road, and got involved with the sport. And it just kind of spiraled from there, and I fell in love with it. I just had a passion for horseback riding. I loved running and swimming, but I wasn't really kind of the triathlon type. So it was a really nice fit for me to be able to just do a lot of different events and a lot of different sports all in one, and continue to push myself in things that I wasn't really comfortable with, like fencing.
That's amazing. You also serve with the Army.
Yes.
And do they allow you then to train at the facility in the Springs? How's that all, how do you balance that?
So the Army does have a program called the World Class Athlete Program that I'm a part of, and I joined in 2017. And they support us as long as we're performing. They support us with our athletic endeavors and our goals for the Olympics. So we train in Colorado Springs at the Olympic and Paralympic Training Center, as well as on base at Fort Carson.
Awesome. What does, now you're an elite athlete, and I can only handle like one thing. So I'm a dad and I own a business. So there's kind of like, I only can handle one thing. How do you handle the training of 5 things, but at an elite level?
I am constantly trying to figure out a good balance. It's constantly trying to schedule things out. And for pentathletes, it's really trying to get everything to work together. So a lot of times I'll have 3 to 5 workouts a day. And so I'm kind of running around trying to plan out my schedule. I will typically run and swim in the mornings, have a break to get some lunch. And then in the afternoons, I'll have lifting or fencing, shooting mixed in there. So I'm pretty much doing almost running and swimming every day. And then strength and conditioning 3 days a week. I'll try and add some yoga in there too for some recovery. And shooting twice a week, fencing about 3 days a week as well.
Now, you described, because it was kind of a military-based sport, it was where at birth. Are you then jumping off a horse, running a 10K, picking up a sword? How is it all broken down?
So all the events are separate. So it's not like a triathlon where we're based on time. So we'll start out with the fencing in the morning, go to swimming. Those two are interchangeable, so you could start with the swim. So you'll have a break or like a warm-up period. You'll have about 20 minutes to warm up between each event. And then you have the horseback riding, which you are given a random horse that you have to, you get 20 minutes with the horse to get to know him, a couple warm-up jumps, and then you have to go out and do a course on that horse. The jumps can be up to 4 feet high. So you just gotta sweet talk them to get through the course as best you can. And then the running and shooting is combined. So those 2 events are like a biathlon. So we shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run.
Control your heart rate, all those things.
Yes.
Now, are you shooting a bazooka? Are you shooting a shotgun, a 22? What's the firearm that you're shooting?
So we shoot an air pistol, but it is now a laser pistol. So instead of having pellets, we have a laser, so that we can compete in a stadium full of people. It's more kid-friendly, more spectator-friendly, and it sounds like it's easy, but I'll have to have you guys try it out. It's really not as easy as it sounds.
So if you're out there and you're thinking, gosh, I want my kid to get involved in this, don't worry, they're not gonna shoot their eyeball out.
Yeah.
They just may laser the fence in the backyard.
Exactly.
But it's a safe environment. Do you have a favorite of the 5?
I would say the run shoot combined is probably my favorite. Fencing was the last event that I started, so I don't normally start in the lead. And with the last event, they stagger you based on the results from the fencing, swimming, and horseback riding. And so in the run, you have to chase down the leader. And so I'm usually in the back trying to run people down. And for me, that's really exciting. And it's exciting for people to watch. They can see who's in the lead. And the horseback riding is always really fun if you get a good horse. If not, it can be a little scary.
So that's really that's a major part of the sport that it's you can't plan for it. So it's the unknowns, the uncontrollables.
Yes, and there is a lot of those in our sport.
So one of those uncontrollables is 2020. When you qualified for the 2020 Olympics, pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, global pandemic, it was supposed to be in August, correct, of this year?
Yes.
When did you qualify? When were qualifications?
So I qualified back in September of 2019. I won the silver medal at Pan American Games, which feels like forever ago.
Oh my goodness.
But thankfully my qualification will roll over to 2021.
That's wonderful. The emotions, September, so you've got 4 or 5 months, 6 months, a half a year. You're really honing in your training for August of 2020. When was the announcement? And as people may know when the Olympics were bumped, but when was that? And how did that make you feel when that all changed?
It initially didn't really hit me. I was kind of relieved because everything was closed down and I really couldn't train the way I needed to. I knew I was in tip-top shape, but it was like pools were closed, gyms were closing. I couldn't train the way I needed to. And so in a way, I was at first relieved because I was like, I know I can't go to the Olympics with that, having the full training that I really want. But then once we kind of kept going, I didn't really deal with it. I just kept trying to train hard, and do what I could from home. And it eventually hit me around July or August. And I remember that one week I got home and I felt so heavy running. I felt heavy. Everything just felt terrible. And I looked and I was like, I would have been at opening ceremonies today. And I was like, I must have just like felt that weight on me. And I read a sermon that my sister wrote and it just hit me and I was just crying. It finally hit me. And so I think getting that out and finally dealing with that emotion helped me make a transformation and just say like, we all are dealing with changes and this pandemic there's so much out of our control, but kind of just dealing with the problem instead of just shoving it under and being like, I'm just gonna work harder, I'm just gonna keep training. It's like, it's not gonna go away and eventually it's just gonna keep eating away at you. So when I dealt with that and talked about it, and I finally sought out a therapist to talk to, and that really, I think, has been a game changer for me to look at more like the mental side of sport instead of just so much physical.
So it sounds like you've got a sister. It sounds like she's got a faith background that encouraged you. Do you have family? Are you married? Who's cheering you on and helping you through the emotional ups and downs of 20 to 2021 and the changes?
So my family, my parents, I mean, just ever since I was little, driving me to practices and supporting me with this pentathlon journey. I started in 2010, so it's been 10 years now that they've really supported me. My sister, and then I just got married in September last year. So we just celebrated our first wedding anniversary and spending the pandemic together, having him experience me qualifying, having my family there. Having that support system, especially right now, going through so many changes has been so important. And just the friends, the family, my Shackley family, my coaches, my Army family, all of the above, having that support system that you can go to when things get hard has just really been a lifesaver for me.
I love that support system. And we'll talk about that later. How do we get behind you? But as we talked we have places like Runner's Roost and gear. Is your gear supplied by the Olympic team, the Army? Like, what's part of your gear? Obviously, you can't bring a horse with you, but how important is gear and the proper clothing? Places like Runner's Roost help you.
Having the right gear is absolutely important. Having the right shoes, the right gear just to prevent injuries. That's huge when we're training so much. Having the right shoes on your feet, having your gait analyzed, going in and having strength exercises that are catered towards maybe where you're more injury prone, and having like a massage therapist or a PT or someone just at a Runner's Roost store that can analyze your gait, help you get the right shoes on your feet. That's like number one thing because you're on your feet all day. Mm-hmm. And other than that, the gear for pentathletes, we have anything and everything, fencing, swimming. So a lot of that stuff, it is like an initial, like a bigger buy-in for the sport because there is so many things that you need, but a lot of clubs will be able to rent out clothing, and the Army has supported me with funding for clothing and the right gear for that, which has been really, really helpful because it's hard when you're going through so many different events, so many competitions.
So your husband's probably wanting a massage therapist like Kelsey as well, because he's probably having to take care of that. But having somebody professional, a PT that takes care of you, gets you ready, because you're training 2 to 3 times a day, and your body really needs that recovery. One of our sponsors is Everpillow by Infinite Moon, and they're a locally owned and operated pillow manufacturer and sleep goods manufacturer here in Aurora. They ship products all over the United States. You can find them at infinitemoon.com. but how is sleep important to, I think, a lot of athletes and weekend warriors? We've got kids, we've got sporting events, we've got jobs. How is sleep and rest important for your training and recovery as well as for the normal humans like us?
I think it's so important. I don't think we really realize how much sleep plays a role, not just physically, but mentally. And if you're more mentally sharp, I think you can push yourself more physically. And that's been a huge thing I'm trying to work on is my sleep. I'm not good about it. I keep finding things to do, or I'll sit on my phone and I'm like, is this really serving a good purpose for me? Like, am I helping myself to be better tomorrow, to be better the next day? Because I am putting my body through a lot. So you really have to just take priority of it. Set an alarm on your phone and just be like, I'm gonna go to bed at this time. And that's one thing my therapist, she's like, text me every day when you go to bed. And that's helped me like be accountable, and having someone else that can help you, a significant other, a friend that you can text, or just be like, hey, let's do this challenge for a month and see what kind of impact it makes. Do I feel better during the day? Am I reaching for that second, third cup of coffee? Like, there's so many things that I think you can start seeing that benefit. And even just doing a week of me trying to get to bed sooner, I've noticed during the day, I'm like, oh, I don't crave that cup of coffee. I'm not feeling groggy in my workouts, and I'm not as irritable towards my significant other during the day, which
I love it.
That just helps overall.
Yeah, I love it. One of our major sponsors is Shaklee. Shaklee is one of the largest, it's the largest natural nutrition company in North America. And Shaklee's been around for 60 plus years. I believe they would rank in like the top 10 of countries when it comes to medals. If Shaklee and all their athletes that they've had over the years, they would rank in the top 10 of medal winners. How did you come across Shaklee as a nutrition company to fuel you in the supplementation and your performance?
I came across Shaklee through a teammate. He was using the product, and he's been a huge representative for Shaklee. A lot of my teammates actually started using it once they started working with him. And so he got me started on it, gave me a bunch of products, and I love the fact that I can take Shaklee knowing that it is clean. I don't have to worry about testing positive. That is a huge concern as an athlete, being drug tested.
So for example, you go with your husband on a honeymoon, can they show up in Cancun and say, test?
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. So the risk is high to say, I'm going to go to a local retail store and buy something off the counter, not knowing where that's coming from. So you trusted Shaklee because it's clean, but does it work?
Yes, absolutely. I've noticed a huge change in just my ability to stay mentally sharp, fuel myself better. There's all ends of the spectrum with Shaklee. I feel like there's fueling aspects, stuff for your skin, hydration, there's all kinds of things, and I think it fits into everyone's lifestyle routine. So whether I need something to help me wake me up in the morning, or to get recovery after a workout, or help me sleep better at night, there's like all ends of the spectrum for products that they have, and I can't even tell you like just the difference it's made in just my recovery with athletics and just feeling better overall.
So it's not just our grandparents' nutrition company, but it's also premier athletes. And a lot of your teammates are using it. Do you have any favorite products that fuel you or recover you? Do you have any favorite Shaklee products that you're using currently?
So I just actually got the Neology, which I love. I was a Life Strip user. I loved those because being on the road, not so much now, but before when I was going to competitions, it's like, okay, you have to put this pill in, this pill, and now I just like be able to take a packet that's made for me, can answer the questions. I love that. And then I also just got the pumpkin spice Life Shake, and I love that. I mix that in with a bunch of stuff. I cook with it, and that to me has been super fun to have some new flavors to mix it up a little bit.
That's wonderful. So what we're learning is recovery, massage, sleep, the right gear, but also the right nutrition to fuel you from the outside in. What would you say is the number one thing that you see in all those areas and other areas that help propel you moving forward as a modern pentathlete?
Can I say all of them?
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. It's a balance. I say balance, but I think it's like a constant ebb and flow of trying to figure out what works for your body. Some people work better on 7 hours of sleep. Some people work better on 9. So figuring out for your body what's going to work best, and finding the right products for you, finding people that can help you in different aspects, and just asking questions. I wish I would have done that as an athlete when I was younger, is ask more questions, especially to a lot of the more elite athletes ahead of me because I'm always comparing myself to them. And I think comparison is also really hard. I don't think we need to compare ourselves to other people because they're on a different journey. And as an athlete, I always see and I'm like, oh, I wish I was like that girl, or I wish I looked like her. But she's doing maybe a completely different sport and I need something different than her. And asking those questions to my coaches, to my teammates, to other people to learn the knowledge of what's going to work best for me.
Now to the young 7, 8-year-old middle schooler guy and gal, what would you say about your sport as well?
Oh man, just enjoy it and just find what you're passionate about. I think it's really good to be diverse in what you do and I was never an athlete to specialize. And I know a lot of coaches are really pushing for that and it leads to burnout and just injuries. And I feel like me having such a diverse background growing up, it helped allow me to be excited. I had like a new season of this and that. And I always had a rule, my parents had a rule, if you start a sport, you have to finish out that season, whether you like it or not. So being able to start something and finish something, I think that really instilled in me that like, whatever you start, you still have to finish it, and then you make a decision if you don't want to continue it. So that really just like continuing to put in that hard work. I was never an all-star athlete in high school. It really took a lot of time for me to develop, but look where I am today. Through hard work, learning, growing, and asking more questions now, it's really developed into making an Olympic team. So you can go wherever you want in life if you work really hard.
I love it. So you've got a great family. You've got Shackley behind you. You've got good sleep. You've got good team. You've got the Army. How can we, followers, Coloradians, people that are going to get in the sport, how can we support you?
So I do have a website, SamanthaKUSA.com, and on there you can follow me. I also have Instagram, YouTube, so you can go and check out my website. I have a PayPal account to be able to donate directly to me, but also buying Shackley products through me will also help directly impact me. I get a portion of that back, and then you also too get a benefit. People get a benefit too on their health. And I have on my YouTube channel, if you go and subscribe, follow me, I have cooking videos, I have workout videos, I have videos on pentathlon, so you can actually see what everything looks like all together. And that's Sammy Schultz, and then my Instagram is SamanthaAUSA. So all of that, hopefully you can follow along my journey.
And we'll put that at the end of the video and the email links and the YouTube links as well. I want to say thank you. Thank you for representing the United States. Really cool sport. Thank you for representing Colorado and a Denver Metro native. We just want to cheer you on, and we're really grateful you shared with us. Appreciate it. Now I want to invite up Christine. Christine is actually a Shackley rep here in the Front Range. And Christine, I'm almost 50. You're almost 50. You're a mother of 4. You train hard. You push your body, and all those things that Sammy said are really true as well. But I'm not going to be in the Olympics. I'm not competing. My football career is over. What can you say about Shackley to the normal person that walks into Runner's Roost, that's going to run their 5K, it's preparing for a triathlon? What can you say to them and how Shackley works with them and their performance and their recovery?
I think what you were saying earlier, I love what Sammy said. And I think for me, when I would go into a store and think about like nutrition or protein or supplements, it's a little overwhelming. It's daunting. I can go into any kind of vitamin cottage store and I think, I don't even know what to choose. I don't know what brand, what product. And so when I came across Shackley years ago, it changed my health, it made a difference, and I slowly just started trying things. But again, to me, it was about the trust and how clean it is, how pure it is, and that it works, and that I didn't have to worry about the protein I was giving my kids. And so now we've got a 22 to a 13-year-old in age, and they've been taking Shackley for 10 plus years. It's been in their body, it's what's fueled them in their sports, and it just feels really good that I don't have to worry that they're getting some really cheap products that have contaminants possibly, but it's really good, fueling them well.
So what about the person that's thinking, okay, it's December, or maybe you're catching this video any time of the year, but I want to lose weight. I'm just feeling groggy. I turned 50 last year. I lost 20 pounds with Shackley as well. What do you speak to them? Is there something that can help move them forward in their fitness, their training goals? Is there something specific that's a great place to start? Because Shackley's been around for 60 years. There's so much product.
Right.
But where do I start?
I think for me, one of my favorite packages is called the 30-Day Prove It Challenge. And honestly, a lot of people this time, especially in the pandemic, you know, like what Sammy was saying is the gyms are closed, the pools are closed. I've been stress eating, emotional eating. I have been depressed. I haven't really worked. I'm not at my job and I'm sitting down, or I'm binging on Netflix, and we're not moving our bodies and we're not eating well. And so we need a jump start. We need a healthy jump start that can get us out of the rut and the habits and really start new and fresh. And so the 30-day Prove It Challenge is a 7-day whole food cleanse. It's so great. I think I've been coaching over 130 people in the last year and a half do the Prove It Challenge, but it's also just dialing in healthier habits. And so you get, like what Sammy was saying, you get this really precise meology, nutrients that your body needs, and then protein. And it's just fun doing it in a community and having someone just walk alongside you. So really it does help people get into new habits. And that's what we need. We're starting in 2021, and many people want to forget what's 2020 been like, but it's never too late to start, and tomorrow's a brand new day. And so there's always a new fresh way to get going. And so it's a great, to me, the best platform and the best starting point of really trying out the Shackley products for yourself.
I love it. So I want to, again, this is not just for Sammy. This is for us. This is for you that are coming in, watching this video. But I do want to thank Runners Roost, not just on Colorado Boulevard, but through the whole state of Colorado. You can find them online. You can purchase online. They'll ship to you. If you are in the Denver metro area and you want one of the best massage experiences, come visit Revitalize Massage in Kelsey. As well as if you're looking for sleep products to get better sleep for yourself, to recover. Sleep is very important in our productivity as well as our weight loss. Check out infinitemoon.com, and we'll have more information about Shackley and how it applies to you, but also to professional athletes. So thank you for this time, and have a great evening.